You are 7 years old in Western Europe 50,000 years ago when a cave lion drags your father's broken body back to camp. The hunting party follows, their spears lowered, eyes downcast. Your mother's screams pierce the winter air, but no one else makes a sound. They cannot afford to expend the energy. Grief is a luxury they do not have. When temperatures plummet to minus 30 degrees Celsius, the protein in your father's remains. That is what is crucial now: his clothing, his tools, and his knowledge. All of it is distributed before his physical form has even cooled. His hunting spear is given to his brother, his fur boots to an elder, his flint knife to you. Use it wisely, the elder says, pressing the blood-encrusted blade into your small palm. Tomorrow, you will learn to hunt. 7 years old, and you are handed the implement that will determine whether you eat or starve. A delightful childhood, wouldn't you agree? Yet, this is not peculiar. It is ordinary. Every Neanderthal child your age already possesses the ability to identify 50 medicinal plants, track 8 distinct animal species, and start a fire. The concept of childhood as a shield from harsh realities. That particular privilege arrives 50,000 years later. All right, before we continue with the narrative, if you are a regular visitor here, please consider subscribing. It greatly assists me. Leave a comment indicating where you are listening from and what time it is. Yesterday, someone from Portugal mentioned listening while preparing dinner, and another from Chicago used it during their morning commute. Remarkable. Your father's demise actually becomes comprehensible once you understand the events that transpired. The hunting party pursued a wounded deer for 3 days. By the third day, everyone was weakened by hunger. That was when they inadvertently entered the cave lion's territory. A simple oversight, one that cost your father his life. But here lies the inaugural lesson of existence as a Neanderthal. Nothing is squandered. Not emotion, not energy, not sustenance. So that evening, your father's body is prepared for interment. While the community partakes in the deer that was finally brought down, the elders carefully access your father's skull to retrieve his brain. It is placed in a specially crafted bowl, fashioned from a turtle shell. Brain tissue, particularly human brain, contains the most concentrated fat deposits available. During winter, fat equates to survival. Each gram offers 9 calories, in stark contrast to protein's 4. The calculations of survival are stark and unforgiving. The remainder of your father is encased in deerskin and laid to rest in a shallow excavation. They sprinkle red ochre powder over his remains. Subsequently, flowers, yes, actual blossoms gathered from the scarce winter flora. Your people have been laying their departed to rest in this manner for countless generations. Modern archaeologists will later unearth these graves and be astonished. They will exclaim, "Wait, these primitive beings practiced burial rites? They placed flowers on graves?" Indeed, they did. The caricature of the savage cave dweller is utterly baseless. Your people possessed intricate social hierarchies, spiritual convictions, and time-honored traditions that rival any early human civilization. Morning arrives swiftly. Your mother awakens you before the sun rises. Her eyes are swollen but devoid of tears. She hands you a small pouch fashioned from rabbit skin. Your father gathered these, she says. Within are tools for fire ignition, a piece of pyrite, and flint. Igniting a flame is not merely a matter of rubbing sticks together as depicted in animated features. Your people strike pyrite against flint to generate sparks, which are then caught in dried moss. This requires proficiency, perseverance, and precise movements. You have observed your father performing this task numerous times. It takes you 7 attempts to achieve a spark that ignites. Your fingers bleed from the sharp edges of the stone. No one offers assistance. No one can afford to. By midday, you are accompanying your uncle through snow-laden forests. He speaks sparingly. Words are precious commodities, employed only when absolutely necessary. He points to indentations in the snow, rabbit tracks. He gestures for you to scrutinize them. How deep are they? What is the distance between them? How recently were they made? These are not arbitrary inquiries. The depth indicates the rabbit's weight. The spacing reveals its pace. The recency signifies its proximity. Your very existence hinges on your ability to interpret these signs accurately. You follow the tracks to a dense thicket. Your uncle presents you with a throwing stick, not a spear. You are too small for that yet. The stick is slightly curved, weighted at one extremity. He signals for you to flush out the rabbit. Your heart pounds as you maneuver around. One opportunity, one throw. You emit a sound, and the rabbit bolts. Your arm swings. The stick takes flight. You miss entirely. Your uncle's expression remains unchanged. No hint of disappointment, no trace of anger, simply acceptance. He retrieves the stick, returns it to you, and indicates another set of tracks. You will attempt again and again until you succeed in striking something, or until the daylight fades. It requires 4 further attempts before your stick intercepts a rabbit in mid-leap. The sharp crack of its spine breaking sends a tremor through you. But there is no room for squeamishness. Your uncle demonstrates the proper method of field dressing it, making an incision in the abdomen, extracting the organs, preserving the valuable contents of the stomach. Here is something that is not imparted in history lessons. Neanderthals consumed the stomach contents of herbivores. The partially digested plant matter served as one of the few dependable sources of essential vitamins during the winter months. Modern Inuit peoples still practice this. Your people did not have access to supermarkets or nutritional supplements. They were compelled to be ingenious. The rabbit is diminutive, scarcely enough sustenance for a single individual, yet it is your inaugural kill. A sense of pride surges through your chest as you transport it back to the encampment. Some members of the tribe offer a nod of recognition. No celebratory accolades, no congratulatory gatherings, merely a subtle acknowledgement of your contribution. That night you sleep more soundly, despite the palpable void where your father should be. You have taken your initial stride toward becoming a provider. Days meld into weeks. The winter intensifies. The community relocates to a limestone cave system that has been utilized for generations. The entrance to the cave faces southward, designed to capture whatever meager winter sunlight emerges. Within, 8 distinct hearths are arranged along the walls, creating spaces for efficient heat distribution. Your people possess a more profound understanding of air circulation and thermal management than many university students today. Your mother assumes responsibility for your education. While the men engage in hunting, she instructs you on which plants can heal and which can prove fatal. She teaches you to recognize yarrow, a potent antibacterial agent. She points out poplar trees whose bark contains salicin, essentially natural aspirin. Your people have been utilizing these botanical remedies for at least 50,000 years, long before any physician prescribed you amoxicillin. Remember, she instructs, Green fuzz on food means it is safe to eat. White fuzz signifies danger. She is referring to mold. Green penicillium mold is harmless and can even ward off infection. White molds, conversely, frequently generate lethal toxins. This knowledge will not be identified by modern medical science for another 49,500 years. Your people are already privy to it. The winter solstice arrives, the period of deepest darkness. Your community convenes at the cave's entrance as the sun grazes the horizon. The elders combine red ochre with animal fat and mark the foreheads of everyone present. No one offers an explanation. No explanation is needed. This practice predates the advent of spoken language. That night, the community shares narratives around the central hearth, not through spoken words, but through gestures, facial expressions, and a sophisticated array of vocalizations that, while not precisely language, convey meaning effectively. Your uncle imitates the grand hunt from the preceding spring, when they subdued a woolly rhinoceros. His hands transform into spears. His body becomes the charging beast. You drift off to sleep, enveloped by your community, the ancient stories washing over you. The following morning brings an unexpected visitor. A scout from another encampment arrives. His body is adorned with spiral patterns, rendered in black charcoal. Information circulates between Neanderthal groups via these emissaries. Your entire population across Europe numbers perhaps 5,000 individuals. Every settlement is aware of every other settlement within a 500-meter radius. The visitor relays news of successful hunting expeditions to the north and extends an invitation to join 3 other communities for the spring salmon run. He also conveys a cautionary report. Peculiar bipedal creatures have been observed far to the south, taller, more slender, with less pronounced facial features and higher foreheads. Their gait is different, and they utilize dissimilar tools. No one articulates it, but everyone comprehends the implication. These are the outsiders, the ones some refer to as sapiens. They have been gradually manifesting at the periphery of your existence for generations. Accounts describe them as physically weak, but intellectually adept, numerous but delicate. The visitor departs after sharing a meal. The adults engage in extended discussions late into the night. You feign sleep but listen intently. Some advocate for an immediate relocation northward. Others argue for remaining until springtime. Ultimately, a decision is reached to stay until the harshest period of winter has subsided. 2 days later, the cave bear attacks. You are gathering kindling with 3 other children when the incident occurs. The bear, colossal, standing 9 feet tall when upright, emerges from behind a rocky projection. Later, you will learn it was suffering from starvation, driven from its hibernation by an overwhelming hunger. However, in that moment, all you perceive is an entity of death charging on 4 legs. The eldest child, a boy of 12 years, positions himself in front of all of you. He raises his arms, making himself appear more formidable. This is a strategy your people have employed against predators for millennia. He roars back at the bear. His small frame somehow projects sufficient menace to momentarily halt the bear's advance. That brief pause preserves your lives. Adult hunters materialize from the tree line, alerted by the boy's defiant roar. They carry substantial thrusting spears tipped with flint points. They do not hurl them. Neanderthal hunting spears are too substantial for long-distance propulsion. Instead, they form a semicircular formation and advance in unison. The bear charges. One hunter is unceremoniously flung aside like a twig, his arm emitting an audible crack. Another plunges his spear deep into the bear's shoulder. The bear cries out in pain but persists in its struggle. It requires 4 additional spears before the formidable creature finally succumbs. That night, the community feasts on bear meat. The injured hunter's arm is expertly set by an elder who has performed this procedure numerous times. They utilize strips of leather for binding and wooden splints to immobilize the fracture. The recovery rate for Neanderthal bone fractures is approximately 80%, nearly on par with contemporary emergency medical facilities. The attack fundamentally alters the community's plans. The cave is no longer a secure refuge if bears are driven to such desperation as to target humans. The following morning, all possessions are packed. The entire encampment is dismantled in under an hour. Your people have perfected the art of swift relocation. You travel northward for 7 days. The journey is arduous. 2 elders do not survive the ordeal. An infant, born merely 3 months prior, develops a cough and succumbs during the night. Your group of 28 dwindles to 25. This mortality rate is not an anomaly. It is the fabric of existence. Your new encampment is situated on a limestone precipice overlooking a river valley. From this vantage point, you can survey the surroundings for miles in every direction. No predator can approach undetected. The river below remains frozen, but with the arrival of spring, it will teem with fish. Your people will be prepared. That night, as new hearths radiate warmth, your temporary shelters, constructed from branches and hides, are erected. Your mother draws you close. Tomorrow, she announces, I will instruct you in the art of fishing. Fishing necessitates a distinct set of skills compared to hunting terrestrial animals. It demands patience, precision, and an understanding of subaquatic patterns. Your people have been engaging in fishing for at least 100,000 years. Certain Neanderthal communities derive 80% of their dietary protein from marine sources. Those southern relatives residing near the Mediterranean Sea are even capable of diving for shellfish, holding their breath for up to 2 minutes. You drift off to sleep contemplating the river and the fish that will emerge with the spring thaw. By modern standards, you are still a child, merely 7 years of age. However, in Neanderthal terms, you are already well on your way to adulthood. You have endured the loss of your father. You have achieved your first successful kill. You have witnessed the resilience of your community. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, more skills to acquire, and further trials to overcome. Your people have flourished in Europe for 400,000 years, weathering ice ages, formidable predators, and periods of starvation. They are not the brutish cave dwellers depicted in popular cartoons. They are sophisticated survivors, possessing culture, artistic expression, and technological advancements perfectly adapted to their environment. And now, you are one of them. The river instills patience in you first. You remain motionless for hours, your spear poised above the dark water. Your mother offers no corrections to your stance nor guidance on when to strike. You either learn or you go without sustenance. 3 days pass before your spear successfully impales its first fish. Your arms tremble with the exertion, but a sense of pride burns more intensely than any flame. That night, your modest catch of perch sustains only you. No sharing is required. The initial kill is always the sole prerogative of the hunter. This is not an act of kindness, but rather a potent motivator. By springtime, You can successfully strike a fish 4 times out of 10 attempts. By summer, your proficiency escalates to 6 out of 10. Your physical strength increases. Your reflexes become sharper. Each season introduces new competencies: weaving reed containers to trap fish, flaking flint to fashion hooks, diving into shallow pools to collect shellfish. 8 seasons unfold in this manner. You are now 15 years old, standing on that same riverbank, yet everything has transformed. Your body has become robust with muscle. Your chest and shoulders have broadened to assume the characteristic Neanderthal barrel shape, accommodating larger lungs and a more powerful heart than any modern human will ever possess. You are shorter than a sapiens teenager would be, but you could easily break their spine with a single hand if the necessity arose. Though it is unlikely to be necessary, probably. 3 children observe you from the shoreline. Their ages range from 7 to 10. They are your apprentices. The community has entrusted them to your care because you have proven your capabilities. Last winter, you successfully tracked and dispatched a solitary wolf that had been menacing the encampment. The wolf's teeth now adorn your neck. Each one is a testament to risks undertaken. Observe, you instruct them, wading into the swift-flowing spring current. The water remains cold enough to be lethal if one remains submerged for too long. Hypothermia can develop within 20 minutes in these temperatures, but your Neanderthal physiology generates more internal heat than modern humans, approximately half a degree warmer. Your skin contains specialized fat cells, similar to those found in Arctic mammals. While cold remains a hazard, you can withstand its effects for a longer duration than those slender-limbed sapiens migrating into territories to the south of your current location. You have never personally encountered these outsiders, but reports concerning them are becoming more frequent. They travel in larger congregations, numbering 20, 30, occasionally 50 individuals within a single group. Your entire community comprises only 22 individuals. The numerical disparity is concerning. Your spear strikes. A large salmon thrashes at the end of it. You lift it high so the children can observe the correct technique, then wade back to the shore. This is not merely a fishing lesson. It is a curriculum for survival. The eldest boy must master this skill by tomorrow. The youngest girl has 3 more seasons to achieve proficiency. Now you announce, handing your spear to the oldest boy. He accepts it with a solemn expression of determination. His father perished during the same winter that claimed your father 8 years prior. You have been watching over him since that time. That afternoon, while the children practice their skills, you ascend the limestone bluff to survey the valley. Your visual acuity is exceptional, even by Neanderthal standards. You can detect movement from a distance of 2 miles. Modern humans will eventually discover that your visual cortex is larger than theirs, an adaptation honed for the forests of Europe and its prolonged periods of darkness. What you discern today causes your breath to catch. Smoke. 3 distinct plumes rising from the forest to the south. They appear too deliberately controlled to be a natural occurrence, and too substantial to originate from a single family unit. Outsiders. You descend rapidly to gather the children. As you approach the encampment, you hear a rhythmic pounding sound. The elders are preparing ochre, a red earth pigment combined with animal fat. Tonight marks the spring ceremony, signifying your transition to full hunter status. The timing could not be more ill suited. The community's leader, a seasoned woman of 40 winters, who survived a mauling by a mammoth in her youth, listens to your report with an impassive demeanor. Upon your conclusion, she simply nods. The ceremony will proceed, she states. We have anticipated their arrival for years. That night, firelight casts dancing shadows across painted bodies. Everyone bears ochre adornments, handprints across their chests, lines that accentuate the contours of their muscles, and dots trailing down their arms. These patterns are not arbitrary. They chronicle your life's journey. The dots on your right arm represent successful hunts. The zigzag pattern across your chest signifies your survival of the bear attack. The handprint over your heart serves as a tribute to your father. These designs are not rudimentary scribbles. They are your history, your identity, your place within the community. Archaeologists will later discover tools for ochre processing dating back 250,000 years. They will debate whether Neanderthals utilized body paint symbolically. They should have simply inquired. The ritual commences with the oldest hunter applying a mixture of ochre and bear fat to your face. He draws a line from your forehead to the tip of your nose and then across both cheeks. These markings remain discernible on Neanderthal skulls, discovered 40,000 years after their demise. The ochre literally stained the bone. You kneel before the community's leader. She holds the ceremonial spear, longer and heavier than standard hunting spears. It is hafted using a specialized technique that involves heating birch pitch adhesive to the optimal temperature. If it is too cool, it will not adhere. If it is too hot, it will become brittle. This acquired knowledge took generations to perfect. Hunt with valor, she commands, placing it into your hands. Hunt for all of us. The celebration extends well into the night. The community shares provisions from their winter reserves: dried fish, preserved berries, rendered fat. An elder produces music from a flute, fashioned from the femur of a juvenile cave bear. The melodic notes echo against the valley walls. 4 holes, drilled at precise intervals, produce a pentatonic scale. This serves as another refutation of the primitive caveman myth. Morning brings the commencement of preparations. The leader assigns you and 5 other hunters your inaugural command. Your objective is ambitious: a small herd of horses observed in the eastern meadows. Horse meat is a rich source of nutrients. Their hides are ideal for crafting summer clothing. Their bones are perfectly suited for tool production. One successful hunt could sustain the community for weeks. As you ready your weaponry, the elder who imparted the skill of flint knapping presents you with a unique gift: a spear point unlike any you have previously encountered. It is larger, leaf-shaped, remarkably thin, yet exceptionally strong. He demonstrates the hafting method, illustrating the precise application of birch pitch and the reinforcement provided by sinew lashing. New design, he states simply. Innovation did not cease with your ancestors. Your hunting party departs at dawn. 6 hours later, you are concealed within the tall grasses, positioned upwind of the horse herd. 12 animals graze contentedly, entirely unaware of the impending event. You signal the strategic plan to your fellow hunters, encircle them, drive them towards the concealed ravine, and target the youngest mare. The ambush unfolds flawlessly until it falters. As you advance closer, a stallion detects your scent and alerts the entire herd. They bolt, but in an unintended direction, veering away from your planned trap. A decision must be made in a split second. Abandon the hunt or adapt. You sprint forward, closing the distance. Neanderthal physiology is engineered for power, not sustained long distance running, but for explosive bursts. You are swifter than any Olympic sprinter. Your specialized muscle fibers contract with incredible force. 20 meters, 10, 5. Your new spear flies. The leaf-shaped point penetrates the young mare's hide between her ribs, puncturing a lung. She stumbles, but continues to run. You have inflicted a wound, but it is insufficient. Now commences the perilous phase. Your hunting party tracks the blood trail for 2 hours. The mare weakens, her pace slows, and she eventually collapses in a small clearing, yet she remains alive, still formidable. A horse's kick can crush your skull. You approach with caution, your spear at the ready. Her eyes roll back in terror. Her breathing is shallow and ragged. You deliver the killing blow swiftly, precisely, directly into her heart. Death should never be prolonged, not for any living creature. Neanderthals are not inherently cruel. Efficiency is their guiding principle. The butchering process begins immediately. Nothing is discarded. Meat is meticulously sectioned. Organs are carefully extracted. The brain, rich in essential fats, is removed using specialized implements. Even the stomach contents, the partially digested grasses, provide vital nutrients. The blood is collected in skin pouches, iron, salt, protein, all in one package. It requires the combined effort of all 6 of you to transport the bounty back to the encampment. You arrive at sunset, victorious. The community rushes to assist, each individual fulfilling assigned tasks. Within hours, strips of meat are hung to dry over smoke fires. Hides are submerged in urine to loosen the hair, preparing them for scraping. Bones shatter for their precious marrow. That night you drift into a profound slumber, a sense of accomplishment born from providing for your kin mingles with deep fatigue. As dawn breaks, it heralds screams. You seize your spear and bolt from your dwelling. Across the encampment, 3 hunters haul a form between them. It's a child, not of your lineage. This child appears different, limbs too elongated, a forehead too upright, a chin too defined. A sapient child, perhaps 10 years of age, male, unconscious but alive. The tribe convenes, their gazes wary. None has ever encountered one of the others at such close proximity. The leader, a woman of weathered authority, scrutinizes the boy, refraining from contact. The hunters relay their discovery. They found him alone by the river, seemingly collapsed from starvation. Eliminate it, suggests one elder. They bring disease. Observe it, proposes another. Learn their vulnerabilities. The leader's gaze remains fixed upon the child, her expression inscrutable. Finally, she turns her attention to you. Your inaugural command decision, she states, her voice steady. What becomes of this one? Every eye in the camp now rests upon you. This is not merely about a single child. It is a reflection of your tribe's response to an evolving world, a choice between conflict or collaboration, apprehension or inquisitiveness. You kneel beside the boy. His breathing is shallow, his skin radiating heat from fever, likely pneumonia contracted from the spring's chilling rains. Without intervention, he will succumb within days. With treatment, however, leveraging your people's extensive knowledge of medicinal flora, he might endure. We will tend to him, you declare, and then we shall return him. Murmurs spread through the tribe. Agreement from some, apprehension from others. The leader offers a single approving nod. The tribe's healer immediately begins gathering plants, yarrow for the fever, willow bark to alleviate pain. For 3 days, the sapient boy hovers precariously between life and death. Your people take turns watching over him, captivated by his distinct physical traits. His fingers, so long and slender compared to your own. His ribcage narrow and flat, a stark contrast to your robust chest. His forehead high and smooth, lacking the pronounced brow ridge of your kind. On the 4th day, his fever finally breaks. His eyes snap open, wide with terror as he beholds you. He scrambles backward, his retreat halted only by the unforgiving cave wall. He attempts to speak, but his language is utterly foreign, its structure and sounds unlike anything you have ever heard. You endeavor to bridge the communication gap through gestures offering food, conveying safety, assuring him of no harm. Gradually, his fear begins to recede, supplanted by curiosity. He observes your people intently, studying their movements, their implements, their social interactions. He is learning, adapting, much as you would. By the 7th day, he can stand. Through pointing and repetition, you have learned his name, something akin to On. He, in turn, has managed to pronounce yours, though his vocalizations lack the deeper chest resonance characteristic of Neanderthal speech. You decide the time has come. You select 2 hunters to accompany you and prepare the boy for the journey. He appears to grasp that you are leading him somewhere. As you depart the camp, he walks close to you, occasionally brushing your arm as if seeking reassurance. The plumes of smoke have drawn nearer. You advance cautiously, ever vigilant for ambushes or sentries. The forest feels altered by the presence of sapiens. You have absorbed the tales. They wield projectile weapons, capable of striking from twice your throwing range. They traverse in larger congregations. They claim more territory. After several hours, you detect their encampment. The scent reaches you first, familiar yet subtly different from your own. Their fires burn with a distinct character. Their voices carry through the trees, higher pitched than Neanderthal pronouncements, more varied in their tonal inflections. You halt well beyond their perimeter. There is no need to venture closer. You have witnessed what was necessary. At least 30 individuals are present, their shelters arranged in a manner unlike your own. Peculiar objects hang from trees, traps, signals, warnings. You kneel before the boy, placing both hands on his shoulders, and gently turn him to face his people. He pauses, glancing back at you with an expression you cannot decipher. Then he turns and runs, calling out in his tongue. Your hunters vanish into the forest instantaneously. You linger just long enough to witness the boy reach his kin. Adults rush to him, engulfing him in embraces. Then numerous eyes fix upon the forest, upon you. You have been observed. It is time to retreat. But as you turn, a sharp whistle slices past your ear. A slender projectile embeds itself in the tree adjacent to you, not a spear, but something smaller, lighter, a new weapon. First contact, first hostility. You race back through the forest, your hunters flanking your escape. No immediate pursuit follows, but the message is undeniably clear. Boundaries, territory, a definitive warning. That night, you deliver a full report to the tribe. The leader listens, then renders her decision. We relocate northward with the next full moon. As you settle into your furs for the night, unsettling thoughts keep you from slumber. The sapient boy's eyes, the unfamiliar weaponry, the distinct arrangement of their camp, both alien and recognizable. They are not entirely dissimilar. They are not entirely alike. They represent something entirely new, and they are not leaving. The world is in flux. Your people have endured on this land for 400,000 years, weathering ice ages, formidable predators, and periods of stark scarcity. But this feels different. This feels definitive. You close your eyes, your hand resting upon your spear. Tomorrow will demand more rigorous training, shrewder hunting, and more thorough preparation. The future of your people hinges upon what unfolds next. Sleep finally claims you, accompanied by a final contemplation. Those others, those sapiens with their peculiar customs, are they gazing upon the same celestial tapestry tonight? Do they ponder your existence just as you ponder theirs? 6 summers have elapsed, 6 winters have passed, 6 cycles of migration in pursuit of game and seasonal shifts. The world transforms with each cycle, and so do you. You are 21 now. The scar etched across your chest recounts the near-fatal encounter with a wounded stag. The calluses adorning your hands are testaments to countless spears crafted, hides prepared, and fires kindled. Your eyes hold a depth of experience that no modern human could possibly comprehend. Your band has dwindled to 17 members. The leader, that resilient woman who survived the mammoth encounter, succumbed 2 winters ago, her lungs succumbing to pneumonia. 4 others were lost to starvation during the most brutal winter in living memory, a time when snow blanketed the earth for 6 consecutive moons. You survived on boiled leather and tree bark. The tribe has elected you as their new leader, not solely for your strength, though it is considerable, nor for your intellect, though your mastery of herbal remedies rivals that of the elders. They chose you because you comprehend the others. Since that inaugural encounter with the sapient boy, you have discreetly observed their groups from concealed vantage points. You have meticulously studied their movements, their tools, their daily routines. When other Neanderthals advocated for aggression, you counseled patience. When some proposed further migration northward, you championed learning. Your band now makes camp near a river valley, 30 miles north of your birthplace. The morning sun warms your face as you kneel beside the tribe's most senior member, a woman of 55 winters, ancient by any measure. Her hands, gnarled with joint pain, still possess remarkable dexterity as she sorts healing herbs. I shall not see another winter, she states matter-of-factly, her voice devoid of self-pity, merely an acceptance of reality. You have weathered many already, you respond. She offers a smile, revealing worn teeth. Dental analysis would later confirm Neanderthals utilized their teeth as tools, resulting in distinctive wear patterns. Some archaeologists would even discover toothpick grooves, a testament to your people's oral hygiene. Before I rejoin the ancestors, she continues, you must learn the profound medicine. Over the ensuing 7 days, she imparts knowledge accumulated over countless generations, which fungi combat infection, which mosses arrest bleeding, the precise method for setting bones to ensure straight and strong healing, and the correct dosage of willow bark to manage pain without inducing gastric distress. On the 8th day, she reveals a closely guarded secret, a small shell containing a greenish-blue mold. For the most grievous wounds, she whispers, when death appears imminent, it is penicillin. the very mold that modern medicine would rediscover as an antibiotic in 1928. Your people have utilized it for at least 50,000 years. Evidence of this practice would later be discovered in Neanderthal dental plaque, though most scientific minds would not accept this until 2017. 2 days later, she does not awaken. Your people enter her that afternoon, her body adorned with red ochre and surrounded by the instruments of her healing craft. You place eagle feathers around her head, not for adornment, but because she once declared, "Eagles carry souls to the stars." That night, solitary on the bluff overlooking your camp, grief washes over you with physical intensity. It is not merely for this elder, but for the seismic shifts occurring around you. The others now occupy territories to the south, east, and west. Only the north remains exclusively Neanderthal domain, and even that diminishes with each passing season. You close your eyes, inhaling deeply. The night air carries scents that your broad nasal cavity processes with exceptional acuity. Pine resin, distant smoke, the musk of a passing fox. When you open your eyes, the stars overwhelm you with their pristine clarity. Something within your mind shifts. The perceived boundaries between yourself and the world seem to dissolve. Colors intensify, sounds sharpen. Is this the sensation of dying, or something entirely different? You find yourself moving, though you have no recollection of making the decision. Your feet guide you toward a small cavern, discovered the previous moon, yet not fully explored. Inside, guided solely by starlight filtering through the entrance, you navigate a narrow passage that opens into a chamber. You ignite the small torch you carried. The flame illuminates a space untouched by human hands. Stalactites hang like stone teeth from the ceiling. The rhythmic drip of water creates a cadence akin to heartbeats. Without conscious direction, you reach for the pouch at your waist. Within it, ochre pigments mixed with animal fat. Your fingers dip into the crimson paste. Your hand moves to the smooth limestone wall. What transpires next will confound archaeologists for centuries. Is it art, a form of communication, or religious expression? All they will know is that deep within caves across Europe, Neanderthals left handprints, dots, lines, and abstract symbols, some dating back 65,000 years, 20,000 years before Homo sapiens arrived. You labor through the night, your handprints press against the stone, a structure resembling a ladder adorned with dots, two animal forms that could be horses or deer, and abstract swirls that signify everything and nothing. Dawn finds you exhausted but irrevocably transformed. You have connected with something profound, transcending language. When future humans discover these markings, they will debate whether Neanderthals possess the capacity for symbolic thought. They should have simply inquired. You return to camp fundamentally changed. The tribe senses it instantly. They maintain a respectful distance, acknowledging your experience. Only one approaches. A young woman identified through gestures that approximate Swift River. She has been your hunting companion for 2 summers, something more for one. The others are approaching, she states without preamble. A substantial group, including children. You gather 5 hunters and move silently through the forest. Within an hour, you locate them. A band of sapiens, approximately 25 strong, but their demeanor is altered. They are not moving with purpose. They are staggering, supporting one another. Several collapse as you observe. Sickness, Swift River whispers, the wasting fever. You recognize the symptoms. extreme fatigue, discernible weight loss, a cough that produces blood. Your people encountered this malady 3 generations prior. It swept through 5 bands, claiming half before its virulence abated. We must go, states one hunter, already backing away. But you hesitate. Among the 6 sapiens, a pregnant woman sits with her head in her hands. Even from this distance, you can perceive she is near term, poised to bring new life into a group ravaged by death. You make your decision. That evening, you approach their camp alone, carrying a bundle of medicinal herbs. They spot you immediately. Spears are raised, bows are drawn. You halt, place your bundle on the ground, and retreat several paces. A tall, sapient male approaches cautiously. He examines the herbs. Recognition dawns on his face. He looks up, meeting your gaze across the clearing, and slowly nods. Over the next 10 days, your band maintains its distance but continues to leave medicine at the boundary between the camps. The sapient mortality rate begins to decline. The pregnant woman survives. On the 11th day, she gives birth. The sapiens' cries alert you. Swift River insists on accompanying you to the boundary. You bring more herbs, specifically for postpartum bleeding. This time, the tall male gestures for you to approach, inviting you closer. Wary but curious, you move towards their camp. The scent reaches you first, distinct from Neanderthal settlements. Their fire construction utilizes more green wood. Their bodies harbor different bacteria. Their food preparation techniques release different aromas. The male leads you to a small shelter where the woman rests with her newborn. She watches you with eyes that are both exhausted and alert. She pulls back the hide covering to reveal the infant. Your breath catches. The baby possesses the high forehead and pronounced chin characteristic of sapiens, but its nasal bridge is higher than that of typical sapient infants. Its chest already exhibits the incipient signs of the barrel-shaped structure unique to your people. A hybrid child, a blend of half Neanderthal and half sapient. The implications are staggering. Not only have the species encountered each other, but they have also mated, creating new life together. This revelation reshapes everything you believed about the divisions between your respective peoples. The mother gestures for you to approach. Hesitantly, you kneel beside her. She takes your hand, her fingers far longer and more delicate than your own, and gently places it on the baby's chest. You feel its heart beating strong and steady. In this moment, you comprehend that this child belongs to both worlds and to neither. It will confront challenges unknown to either pure Neanderthal or pure sapient. Yet, it represents potential, a future that neither of your peoples could have envisioned independently. You return to your band with this profound knowledge resonating within your mind. That evening, gathered around the fire, you share your observations. Reactions diverge, ranging from awe to apprehension. Some perceive an abomination, others an adaptation. The world is transforming, you declare to them. We must evolve with it, or we shall vanish. The seasons turn. Your band establishes an uneasy coexistence with the sapient group. Not precisely friendship, not a formal alliance, but mutual recognition, a respect for established boundaries, and occasional exchanges of resources. They're meticulously carved bone needles for your superior fire-starting implements. You acquire fragments of their language. They, in turn, learn elements of your communication system, sufficient for coordinating hunts within shared territories. Each group leverages its unique strengths, their projectile weapons for the initial engagement, your powerful thrusting spears for the decisive blow. The hybrid child grows demonstrably stronger. Other such children begin to appear in both encampments. Some Neanderthal women pair with sapient partners, and some sapient women form unions with Neanderthal mates. The lines between the groups blur with each new birth. However, winters grow increasingly severe. Game becomes scarcer. Competition for essential resources intensifies as more sapient bands migrate into the region. Your people have historically survived through adaptation, but the pace of change is accelerating beyond anything previously experienced by Neanderthals. During the fourth winter of this precarious coexistence, disaster strikes. A colossal storm engulfs the region in snow, accumulating to a depth unprecedented in living memory. For 15 days, egress from shelters is impossible. Food reserves dwindle to nothing. When the storm finally subsides, your band confronts the grim specter of starvation. You organize a desperate hunt, despite the perilous conditions. The snow, chest deep in places, saps your strength. Your powerful Neanderthal physiology consumes calories at an alarming rate, an advantage in ordinary circumstances, but a liability now. 6 hours into the hunt, you spot tracks. Reindeer, moving sluggishly through the deep snow. Easy prey in these conditions. You signal your hunters to assume the ambush formation. The initial spear flies true, striking a young buck. It stumbles, but its progress through the deep snow is severely hampered. You charge forward for the killing thrust. Your foot breaks through a concealed pocket beneath the snow. You pitch forward as searing pain explodes through your leg. The sound of fracturing bone echoes across the white expanse. Your femur, the strongest bone in the human body, has snapped clean through. The jagged end tears through muscle and skin, its crimson blood staining the snow. In the modern world, this injury would necessitate surgery, metallic pins, and months of arduous rehabilitation. In your world, it often signifies impending death. Even if infection does not prove fatal, a poorly healed leg renders you incapable of hunting, contributing, or ultimately surviving. Your hunters carry you back to the camp. Swift River oversees the setting of the bone, employing techniques passed down through countless generations. The leg is straightened, splinted with wood, and bound securely with leather straps. Pain beyond comprehension washes over you in waves. For 6 weeks, you remain confined to your shelter, entirely dependent on others. The band shares its meager food supplies, though starvation looms over everyone. You observe their faces grow gaunt, their children's ribs becoming more prominent with each passing day. From your sickbed, you witness something unexpected. Sapiens from the adjacent band arrive, bringing meat. Not a great quantity, as they too are struggling, but enough to sustain your most vulnerable members. The hybrid children move between the camps as if they belong to both. In certain respects, they do. As your leg slowly begins to mend, you confront a truth you have been actively avoiding. Your band cannot endure another winter such as this on its own. The game continues to diminish. The climate persists in its shifts, and the ancient practices that have sustained Neanderthals for 400,000 years are no longer viable. When you can finally walk again, albeit with a pronounced limp that will never fully disappear, you convene the entire band. The only 13 members remain now, 4 having succumbed to the brutal winter. We have a choice, you inform them. We can continue alone and face extinction, or we can unite with the others and forge a new path forward. The debate continues throughout the night. By dawn, the band has fractured. 7 individuals, including Swift River, will follow you toward an uncertain future alongside the Sapiens. 6 will journey northward, seeking the old ways, a pure Neanderthal existence. You embrace those who are departing, understanding that you will never see them again. Their choice is valid, honorable, but in your heart, you know they embark on a journey toward oblivion. Your diminished group approaches the sapient camp, bearing gifts, exquisitely crafted spear points, potent medicines, and a deep understanding of local plant cycles. They welcome you with caution, but without overt hostility. The hybrid children serve as natural intermediaries, facilitating translation, mediating discussions, and fostering connection. That night, seated beside a fire that burns with a distinct character compared to those of your upbringing, you observe Swift River conversing with a sapient woman. They communicate through a combination of gestures and shared vocabulary, occasionally erupting into laughter at their misunderstandings. You realize you are witnessing the demise of one world and the genesis of another. Your people, the pure Neanderthals, will fade into obscurity within a few thousand years. Yet your genetic legacy, your accumulated knowledge, and aspects of your culture will persist within these hybrid children and their descendants. It is not the future you anticipated, nor the future your ancestors prepared you for, but it represents a form of survival. Swift River catches your eye across the fire and offers a smile. Her hand rests protectively over her abdomen, where new life is growing. Another hybrid child, another bridge between disparate worlds. You place your hand over your chest, above your heart, enacting the gesture that has signified family to your people for millennia. She returns the gesture without hesitation. Tomorrow brings a new hunt, new challenges, and new adaptations. The world evolves, and so must you. 8 more seasons pass. The amalgamated camp relocates 4 times, tracking game and circumventing the harshest weather patterns. With each migration, more sapiens join the collective. More hybrids are born. Fewer pure Neanderthals remain. You are 29 now. The dark beard you possess shows the initial threads of gray. The old leg injury has left you with a permanent limp, but you have adapted. You have always adapted. Swift River gave birth to a daughter who inherited your broad chest and barrel-shaped ribs, but possessed longer limbs and a less pronounced brow. 2 more children arrived, both exhibiting the blended heritage destined to be found in virtually every human genome outside of sub-Saharan Africa. Of your original 13 who joined the Sapiens, only 7 pure Neanderthals remain. No communication has ever been received from those who ventured north. You occasionally scan the horizon, hoping to glimpse a familiar figure. None ever appears. This morning, you are seated outside your dwelling, overseeing 10 children. Some are pure sapiens, others are hybrids, not purely Neanderthal. You are instructing them in crafting cordage from plant fibers. Your thick, robust fingers twist the strands with practiced skill. The children struggle to replicate your technique, particularly the pure sapiens with their longer, more slender digits. Like this, you demonstrate again, slowing your movements. Twist away from you, then cross over. A young hybrid boy, about 7 winters old, grasps it first. His hands combine Neanderthal strength with sapiens dexterity. He beams up at you, presenting his perfectly twisted cord. Good. you tell him. Now, show the others. This is your purpose now, teacher, preserver of knowledge. While younger hunters from both species procure sustenance, you safeguard skills that neither population fully possesses independently. The sapiens value your profound understanding of flora, atmospheric patterns, and animal behavior. You have acquired their more intricate language, though your vocal apparatus prevents you from producing certain sounds. Later that day, a hunting expedition returns with somber intelligence. A new group of sapiens has established themselves in the Eastern Valley. They display no inclination for cooperation. Two hunters who attempted contact were repelled with a volley of spears and stone projectiles. That evening, the camp leaders convene around the central fire. 3 sapiens elders, yourself, and Swift River, representing the Neanderthals. A serious discussion commences regarding the advisability of dispatching emissaries once more, or relocating to avert conflict. We should journey north, suggests one sapiens elder, a woman whose face is adorned with elaborate scarifications. Seek out new hunting territories. The north grows colder with each passing year, you counter. The great ice is returning. You are correct. Though imperceptible to most, the vast glaciers are once again advancing southward. Europe teeters on the brink of another severe freeze. Migrating northward guarantees starvation. Then we shall defend this territory, declares a young sapiens male, his hand resting on the stone-tipped spear at his side. Swift River shakes her head. We are too few. The gravity of the situation hangs heavily in the air. Your mixed group numbers approximately 40. The newcomers appear to be twice that in strength. Direct confrontation would be catastrophic. The debate continues until the sapiens woman with the scarred countenance speaks again. We will offer gifts, food, medicines, tools. If they reject peace, then we will reassess. Her sagacity reminds you of your former leader, the woman who endured a mammoth's goring. You nod in agreement. The others follow suit. Before the following dawn, you join the party bearing gifts. Your expertise in medicinal herbs has been specifically requested. The newcomers have been observed coughing, perhaps afflicted by the same debilitating sickness that initially united your peoples. As you approach their encampment, you discern disparities from your own mixed settlement. Their shelters form a more compact circle. Sentries patrol the perimeter. Every aspect of their arrangement suggests a people accustomed to conflict. They spot your approach immediately. Warriors advance, weapons at the ready. Your small contingent halts, places the gifts on the ground, and awaits. A tall sapiens individual, adorned with intricate shell ornaments on his attire, approaches cautiously. He inspects the offerings, lingering longest on the medicinal pouches. He looks up, scrutinizing your group, particularly you and the other Neanderthal representative. His expression betrays poorly concealed disdain. He utters something in a dialect you do not comprehend, then kicks the gifts aside. The message is unequivocal. You return to camp with heavy hearts. That night, the decision is finalized. You must relocate once more, but not northward. Instead, westward, towards the great expanse of water, where sustenance might be more abundant. Preparations commence immediately. Hides are gathered for new shelters. Food supplies are packed. Tools are mended or fashioned anew. You oversee the creation of carrying satchels for the children and the elderly. The design integrates Neanderthal resilience with sapiens adaptability, featuring leather straps that distribute weight across the shoulders and chest. 3 days prior to your departure, disaster strikes. A child returns from the river, screaming. Blood streams from a wound on his arm. Hunters hasten to investigate and return with grim news. 3 members of your group were ambushed while fishing. 2 were killed, their bodies brutally disfigured. The attackers left clear imprints. The newcomers have initiated hostilities. Fury sweeps through the encampment. Young warriors from both species seize their weapons, demanding retribution. The Sapiens' elders barely restrain them. You observe the chaos, a chilling certainty solidifying within you. This conflict was unavoidable, not due to any inherent desire for it by either side, but because resources diminish with each passing season. The great ice advances, game becomes scarce. Territory that once sustained multiple bands now barely provides for one. That night, as the encampment finally settles into a restless slumber, Swift River joins you on the sentry platform overlooking the valley. I have witnessed this before, you tell her quietly. In the ancient narratives, every Neanderthal band preserved oral histories extending back hundreds of generations. Tales of times when sustenance vanished, when the ice arrived, when peculiar ailments swept through the camps. The stories always concluded similarly: adaptation or extinction. What did the stories advise? She inquires. You have no response. The narratives never elucidated what transpired afterward. They simply ceased. Dawn brings fresh horror. Smoke billows from the direction of the newcomers' encampment. Your scouts return with unexpected tidings. The hostile group has vanished. Their shelters are ablaze. No bodies are visible, but signs of violence are everywhere. Something more formidable than rival sapiens has emerged. The revelation arrives that afternoon when a solitary survivor stumbles into your encampment. A woman from the newcomers' band, gravely wounded, babbling in her tongue. The sapiens' elders translate her account in fragments. Assailants arrived in the darkness, neither sapiens nor Neanderthals. Something else. Taller, more ferocious, wielding weapons unseen before. They slaughtered most, took some captive, and incinerated everything else. The newcomer succumbs before sunset. A peculiar infection is blackening the wounds on her arms. No amount of your healing knowledge can save her. The encampment erupts in frantic preparations. The westward migration must commence immediately. Every moment of delay risks annihilation by these unknown predators. You labor throughout the night, assisting the most vulnerable in their preparations. The hybrid children cling to you, sensing the adult's apprehension. You regale them with tales of Neanderthal fortitude to soothe them, how your people endured the great ice, the cave lions, the endless winters. As dawn approaches, Swift River draws you aside. Her countenance displays an expression you have never before witnessed: unadulterated terror. The sickness is coming, she whispers, revealing her arm. Black lines are spreading from a small laceration near her wrist, the same affliction that claimed the newcomer woman. Your world momentarily ceases to exist. Swift River, your hunting companion, your mate, the mother of your offspring, has mere hours, perhaps a day, remaining. The infection progresses too swiftly for any remedy, you realize. She perceives the truth in your eyes. Go, she implores. Take the children. I will follow the ancient custom. The ancient custom. When Neanderthals faced imminent death, they would occasionally depart from the band to perish in solitude. No burden upon the tribe, no risk of spreading contagion, a final offering to the living. You grasp her hand, pressing your forehead against hers. No words exist in either language to articulate this moment. By midday, the band journeys westward. You carry your youngest child, the other two walking beside you. Swift River is not the only one absent. Four others exhibited symptoms of the mysterious infection. All chose the ancient custom over endangering the band. The westward trek transforms into a nightmare of constant vigilance. Every ridge might conceal the unknown adversaries. Every stream could harbor the deadly contagion. Your band, now comprising 33 survivors, moves as silently as possible, avoiding open terrain and traveling primarily under the cloak of night. After 12 days, you arrive at the vast ocean, the Atlantic. Its immensity astonishes even you, who has witnessed so much across your 3 decades. Salt spray dances on the wind, gulls circle overhead. The ceaseless roar of the waves masks subtle sounds, making everyone jumpy. You establish camp in a sheltered cove. Cliffs offer protection to your rear. The ocean provides sustenance: fish, shellfish, and mineral-rich seaweed. Gradually, the terror of flight dissipates, replaced by the daily routine of survival. Weeks transpire, no sign of pursuit. The infection that claimed Swift River manifests in no one else. Life settles into new patterns. Your role within the band evolves once more. Now, you are not merely a teacher, but a chronicler. The last pure Neanderthals convene regularly in your dwelling to recount the old stories, the ancestral ways. You fashion memory aids, collections of shells, unusual stones, animal teeth arranged in patterns that encode information. Future archaeologists will discover such assemblages and debate their significance. They will never surmise that these were your libraries, your historical records. The hybrid children also participate in these memory sessions. They absorb Neanderthal wisdom as dry earth absorbs rain. Their unique minds, part Neanderthal, part sapiens, process information differently than either parent species. They forge connections you would not, and pose questions the sapiens would never conceive. During one frigid winter night, as howling winds compel everyone indoors to the communal space, you witness something extraordinary. A young hybrid girl, approximately 10 winters old, devises a novel method of communication. She combines Neanderthal gesture language with sapiens vocalizations to elucidate a complex hunting technique to children from both species. Everyone understands perfectly. You realize you are observing evolution unfold before your very eyes. These hybrid children are not merely surviving, they are flourishing. Their mixed heritage grants them advantages neither parent species possesses independently. Neanderthal cold resistance coupled with sapiens social networking. Neanderthal strength augmented by sapiens ingenuity. The best of both worlds, minimizing the weaknesses of either. Years elapse. You reach 40 winters, ancient by the standards of your era. Your beard is now entirely gray, your limp more pronounced. Of the original Neanderthals, who intermingled with sapiens, only you and 2 others remain. No pure Neanderthal children have been born into the band for 8 winters. The youngest is now 12, a boy whose name, conveyed through gestures approximating Stonefinder, reflects his uncanny ability to locate ideal materials for crafting tools. One crisp autumn morning, you are seated atop the cliffs overlooking the ocean. Your eldest daughter, now a woman with children of her own, joins you. Though hybrid, she exhibits more Neanderthal features than most. Her eyes, your eyes, scan the horizon with the same keen perception you have always possessed. The last ones, she remarks quietly, not looking at you. You comprehend her meaning. 3 days prior, news arrived from a trading party. They encountered another band who spoke of the final, pure Neanderthals to the north. Less than 20 individuals struggling against starvation as the ice advances, refusing to integrate with sapiens, clinging to the old ways. They have chosen their path, you reply. As you chose yours, she states, finally meeting your gaze, to ensure our survival, even if changed. You nod, a lump forming in your throat. For the first time, you permit yourself to fully comprehend what you have known for years. Your people, pure Neanderthals, will cease to exist within the span of another generation. 400,000 years of distinct evolution, concluding within your lifetime, yet not vanishing entirely. You observe hybrid children playing on the beach below. Their laughter drifts on the wind. Their movements possess Neanderthal power, tempered by sapiens' grace. Their minds hold knowledge from both ancestral lineages. We live on within them, you say simply. Your daughter takes your hand. Her grip conveys your strength, but her fingers display the longer sapiens pattern. Yes, she agrees, and they will remember. That night you dream of ancient caverns, of handprints pressed against stone, of ochre symbols conveying narratives that may never be deciphered. You dream of ice advancing from the north, of forests receding, of colossal beasts vanishing one by one. You dream of Swift River walking away to die alone, her final gift to the band. You awaken, knowing what you must do. There is one final lesson to impart. The seasons turn. Your body no longer mends as it once did. Each winter bites deeper into your bones. Each summer restores less vigor to your muscles. This is the essence of aging when you are the last of your kind. You are now 41, ancient by Ice Age standards. The other two pure Neanderthals in your band perished last winter. One succumbed to pneumonia. Her barrel chest ultimately failed her after 50 harsh years. The other simply drifted off to sleep one night and did not awaken. His body showed no injuries, no indications of illness. Perhaps his heart simply decided its time had come. That leaves you, the last pure Neanderthal, within a band of 37. The others are either fully sapiens or hybrids of varying degrees. Your 3 children now have offspring of their own. Your grandchildren inherit your brow ridge, your sturdy build, but their limbs lengthen with each succeeding generation. Their foreheads rise higher, their chins become more prominent. You do not begrudge these alterations. Evolution has never been driven by sentimentality. The morning sun finds you seated outside your shelter. A collection of objects is spread before you on a deerskin. Unusual stones, shells with natural perforations, animal teeth meticulously arranged in patterns, eagle feathers, fragments of amber, small clay figures hardened by fire. This represents the culmination of your life's work, a mnemonic system encoding everything a Neanderthal should comprehend. Which plants offer healing? Which are poisonous? How to interpret weather from cloud formations? How to track 30 different animals? How to kindle fire in the rain? How to set a fractured bone? The locations of safe caves for winter refuge? The migratory paths of reindeer herds? 400,000 years of Neanderthal knowledge condensed into objects that can be transported, reconfigured, and taught. You have dedicated 3 years to constructing this system, instructing the children on how each element connects to specific knowledge. Modern archaeologists will encounter analogous collections and categorize them as trinkets or ritualistic artifacts. They will never suspect they are examining libraries. Your eldest daughter's son, your first grandchild, sits opposite you, diligently memorizing the patterns. At 12 winters, he displays the greatest interest in the ancestral ways. His features lean more towards sapiens than Neanderthal, but a certain quality in his eyes reminds you of your father, gone 40 years now. The same intensity, the same curiosity, you tell him, intermingling the pieces. He reconstructs the pattern from memory: shell, amber, dark stone, tooth. Each combination unlocks specific knowledge. This arrangement indicates which mushrooms are nutritious and which induce visions, which are deadly and which promote healing. Good, you remark when he completes it correctly. Now, the forest paths. He assembles a new arrangement as you observe. The morning light glints off the objects. You sense a peculiar truth. Your people will vanish, but their knowledge will endure. Not in written texts or books, for those are still millennia away, but within these mnemonic systems passed down through hybrid generations. That afternoon, the hunting party returns with surprising intelligence. Another band is approaching from the east, not hostile, bearing trade items. They arrive before sunset. 22 individuals establishing their camp nearby. You observe them from a distance. Something about their appearance stirs your memory. Their features, their movements, they are predominantly sapiens, yet several exhibit distinct Neanderthal characteristics. Then it dawns on you. These might be descendants of the band that journeyed north. When your people first integrated with sapiens, those who adhered to the ancient ways that night around shared fires, your suspicion is confirmed when their eldest member, a woman of perhaps 35 winters, recounts her grandmother's tales of a band that eschewed intermingling with sapiens and sought isolation in the north. They found it for several generations, but the encroaching ice eventually compelled them southward once more. By then, necessity superseded pride. They joined with sapiens groups they encountered. The last pure individuals perished 3 winters ago. She attributes their demise to the cold. Something shifts within you with her words. A burden you were unaware of carrying lifts. You are truly the last. Not merely within your band, but possibly anywhere in this region. Dawn finds you once again atop the cliffs, watching the ocean relentlessly crash against the stone far below. The tide recedes, unveiling tide pools teeming with life. Adaptation occurs universally and continuously. Species merge, transform, evolve, or disappear. Nothing remains immutable. You make your decision. It is time for the final lesson. That evening you gather the children, not exclusively your own, but all the band's children old enough to comprehend. 23 young faces watch you expectantly as you kindle a larger fire than usual. The adults sense the significance of the occasion and assemble behind the children. You commence with a gesture language as ancient as your species, hands sweeping to mimic the ice advancing from the north, fingers walking to signify migrating peoples. You add sounds, words from both languages. You narrate the saga of your people from its inception, 400,000 years ago. The initial individuals who might be termed Neanderthals emerged in Europe. Their physiques adapted to cold, to darkness, to arduous conditions that no other human species had mastered. Their brains expanded beyond those of any hominid preceding them. Their technology, stone implements, wooden spears, controlled fire, enabled them to flourish where others perished. For countless generations, they hunted colossal creatures, mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, giant deer. They interred their dead with flowers and ochre. They created art deep within sacred caverns. They healed injuries that would have proven fatal to other species. They produced music using bone flutes. They survived ice ages. You explain how the progeny of both inherit advantages that neither parent species possessed alone. In you, you tell them, looking into each face in turn, both peoples endure, neither as they were, but as something new, something more robust. You reveal scientific insights that will remain undiscovered for 50,000 years. That approximately 2 to 4% of modern human DNA originates from Neanderthals. That genes influencing immunity, skin pigmentation, hair texture, and fat metabolism are transmitted from your people to theirs. That beyond sub-Saharan Africa, every human on the planet carries Neanderthal DNA. The children listen, captivated. The adults stand in silent contemplation behind them. Even those who have heard portions of this narrative before seem to grasp its profound importance tonight. When you conclude your discourse, you perform a final ritual, unprecedented. You blend red ochre with animal fat, the very pigments your ancestors utilized for 250,000 years prior. You press your hand against a flat stone, leaving a perfect handprint. Then you invite each child to do likewise on stones designated for them. When you look at my hand, you instruct them, remember me. The stones will eventually vanish. The specific recollection will fade, but a resonance of this moment will echo through the generations. Thousands of years from now, children will still press their hands onto surfaces, creating handprints, unaware that they are continuing one of humanity's most ancient traditions. That evening, you sleep profoundly, at peace with the approaching inevitability. As spring emerges, you quietly undertake your preparations, gathering provisions for an extensive journey. Your most crucial implements, medicine pouches, and cherished mementos, carefully encased in hide. Your offspring observe with increasing comprehension in their gazes. They have witnessed this before, the established pattern, the ultimate voyage. Not yet. Your eldest daughter voices her objection upon realizing you remain robust. You dismiss her concern. Strength is a relative measure. Your eyesight no longer discerns prey with its former acuity. Your hands falter when fashioning delicate instruments. Each passing winter extracts a greater toll than the subsequent spring can replenish. You have endured to witness 45 winters, a remarkable feat in your era. My understanding now resides within you. You convey to her, within your progeny, within these artifacts. She cannot refute this truth. She was nurtured with sufficient Neanderthal wisdom to grasp it, and enough sapience to accept it. The community requires every available resource directed towards those who can offer the most significant contributions. The ancient custom upholds this principle. On the morn of your departure, the entire clan convenes. There are no elaborate farewells. Neither Neanderthal nor early Homo sapiens cultures embraced such displays. Instead, they present humble offerings, a curiously shaped stone, an intricately carved piece of antler, a flawless eagle feather, objects imbued with remembrance and significance. Your three offspring and their progeny accompany you for the initial day's travel. You journey inland, away from the coastline, ascending towards the hills where limestone caverns intricately vein the terrain, such as those where your forefathers found refuge across countless generations. At a river's edge, you pause. This is the designated point of separation. The moment stretches between you, saturated with all that remains unspoken in either tongue. Your eldest grandson, the one most adept at recalling generational wisdom, steps forward. He places his hand upon yours. Palm to palm, his fingers extend beyond yours, longer and more delicate, yet the form bears striking resemblance. No words are exchanged, only a profound connection. They then turn back towards the coastal encampment, and you continue your solitary trek into the highlands. Your stride is measured. You hold no precise destination, only an intuition that you will recognize the fitting location when you encounter it. 3 days later, you discover a modest cave entrance, partially concealed by a cluster of junipers. Something about its position, the manner in which the fading sunlight illuminates the opening, draws you in. Within, the passage constricts before opening into a chamber spacious enough to stand upright. The atmosphere feels quiescent yet not stale. No creature has recently sought refuge here. This place will suffice. You methodically unpack your belongings, arrange your instruments and keepsakes in deliberate formations, gather fuel for a modest fire. The dancing flames illuminate walls sufficiently smooth for your intended purpose. The ochre mixture coalesces, just as it has for countless preceding generations. Red earth, animal fat, and a binding agent derived from pine sap. You dip your fingers into the pigment and approach the wall. What you create is not sophisticated artistry as conceived by modern humans. Not lifelike animal depictions such as those found at Lascaux or Altamira, which will later emerge from sapient hands. Your symbols are more ancient, more fundamental. Handprints, dots, lines, abstract patterns that convey meaning comprehensible only to a Neanderthal. You labor through the night, your movements almost independent of conscious direction. The markings narrate your existence, offspring of the river valleys, hunter of immense creatures, witness to the arrival of others, a conduit between peoples, the last of your kind. As dawn breaks, its light penetrating through fissures in the ceiling, you recline to behold your creation. It will remain here undisturbed for 45,000 years before rediscovery by humankind. They will debate its purpose, its originators, never fathoming the complete chronicle behind these enigmatic markings. In the ensuing days, you establish a simple rhythm. You venture out for sustenance and water. You maintain a small fire. You augment the markings on the wall. You rest when fatigued, consume when hungry. Time loses its conventional significance, superseded by the cycles of the sun and moon, warmth and chill. As summer yields to autumn, you sense an impending change. Your physical strength wanes despite adequate nourishment. Your thoughts increasingly meander into the past. You find yourself conversing aloud with individuals long departed. Your father, Swift River, the elder leader who survived the mammoth. On a crisp morning, you awaken with the certainty that this day marks your end, not due to illness or injury, but from that profound innate awareness all humans possess, should they attune themselves to it. You muster your remaining vitality for one final undertaking. Near the cave's entrance, You excavate a shallow depression in the yielding earth. Into this cavity, you place your most treasured possessions, the objects of remembrance, your tools, the wolf's tooth necklace you have worn for 30 years. You add a lock of hair from each of your offspring, preserved since their birth. Finally, you generously sprinkle red ochre over everything, then cover it with soil and stones. This too will be unearthed by archaeologists millennia hence. They will term it a ceremonial cache or a symbolic interment. Their interpretation will be partly accurate. What they will fail to grasp is that you are not merely honoring the past, you are sowing the seeds for the future. Certain of these items hold knowledge that will be painstakingly reacquired through trial and error over eons. Others contain information destined for permanent oblivion. The sun descends, marking your final day. You sit at the cave's threshold, observing the landscape surrender to the encroaching darkness. Stars emerge one by one until the celestial dome blazes with more illumination than shadow. The same constellations your ancestors observed for 400,000 years. The same stars by which your descendants will navigate for the next 45,000. You close your eyes, drawing a deep inhalation into lungs adapted for the frigid European atmosphere. Feel the characteristic curvature of your spine, the robust musculature of your shoulders, the pronounced brow that shields your eyes. This physical form, this specific arrangement of bone, blood, and intellect will vanish from Earth. Yet the fundamental elements, the most successful evolutionary traits, will persist in your hybrid offspring and their descendants, an unbroken lineage leading to modern humanity, who will one day reflect and contemplate their ancient forebears. As consciousness ebbs, a final thought brings a gentle smile to your lips. You will never truly be absent from them. Your genetic legacy endures within their cells. Your accumulated knowledge has shaped their cultures. Your advantageous adaptations have bolstered their survival. You were never the conclusion of a narrative. You were the commencement of another. The last pure Neanderthal closes his eyes for eternity. Outside the cave, snow begins to descend, blanketing the terrain in immaculate white. The cycle of the seasons continues its course. Life persists, adapts, evolves. And somewhere in the distance, a hybrid child dreams of ancestors with prominent foreheads and powerful physiques, who imparted their knowledge of celestial bodies, flora, and fauna, who taught them the arts of survival in a realm of ice and peril, who live on within the very fabric of their being. The continuity remains unbroken.